Hello. I've not done a tutorial for a little while, and I find myself at a loose end, so I thought I would jump on and do a tutorial. We've spoken on my stories recently about how it'd be useful for me to kind of show you guys exactly how I make the pictures, like the speed edits. You can't see the kind of all the details for how I do it, and it'd be too long for me to post like the full tutorial of making my shots, my edits, because I mean they can take from anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours to make, and I can't imagine anyone wants to sit there for that long. But what I am going to do is try to, for each post, I'll see how I get on, take the kind of key elements, the key Photoshop work, and split it out into a couple of different tutorials to show you how I did it. So hopefully that will give you the kind of broadly speaking how the post would be put together. So I thought I'd start with the most recent post I did, the Fallen Angel post, and I'll do two tutorials. One will be to show you how I extend the canvas, which is quite simple but a really useful technique because it really helps you kind of compose your shot better. And then the other one is I'll show you how I put the wings on my back. So I'll start with the wall, and then the next tutorial I'll post will be the wings on my back. So I hope it will be helpful, and I'll try and kind of retrospectively go back and do some of the other posts that I've done lately. It just depends how much time I have on my hands. Sorry for the shaky camera, I've lost my phone tripod, but hopefully another one's coming in the post any day now, so better production quality. Anyway, without further ado, I will record the tutorials. So when I was creating this image, I knew that I'd need to add more height to the top of the image, a bit more height on the canvas, because I wanted to crop in a little bit to lose some of the wall and the door, etc. But I wanted to be able to place me centrally in the image still. I wanted to leave room for the wings, and I wouldn't have been able to do all of that using the canvas size that I've got here. So what I had to do was increase the wall above me. So I'm just going to unlock that layer because sometimes it blocks you doing stuff if you haven't. So the first thing I do is I increase the canvas size. So if you go up to, I always forget where it is, image, up on your top navigation bar, and go canvas size, then here we can change the height of it. Now this little anchor debris, I don't know what to call it, is to so that you can work out where you're going to add extra canvas to. Now we know we want to add it to the top, so if you set your anchor point down here, it will add the extra space to the top of your image. So I'm just going to put in the same figure as the width, because then it will be a square. Obviously this will be whatever you need it to be for what you're doing. And as you can see, I've now got more canvas to play with. That's way too much, actually. I won't need that much, but it's the principle, I suppose. So now the first thing I do is I copy a bit of wall that's pretty similar to the bit. So it's really badly phrased. Basically, I'm going to go and I'm going to copy this wall here and then duplicate it at the top, because it's just a continuation of the wall, so it will look fairly similar. Here's what I mean. So I'm going to go get my rectangular marquee tool from your selection panel. If you just hold down, you get your little menu of selections. So I'll select that. Then I will, I'm just going to zoom in. I'm doing that by holding Alt and then zooming in using the roller on my mouse. And then just select, you can be fairly, just select the wall before you start to get kind of bits of detailing that you don't want, because obviously we don't want the bed duplicated up here. So I've got that selected. Now if you press Control Shift J, I think it is. No, that's the wrong one. Press Control J, it copies the thing that you had selected. So I don't know if you saw down here, we've now got another layer. It's copied it onto a new layer, and it's copied the selection that we made. So if I hide the background image, you can see it's just the bit that we selected. And if I hide that, the background image hasn't been affected because it's copied it, not cut it out. So that was Control J, which I think will be the same on a Mac. Might be Command J actually on a Mac. So once we've got that bit of wall selected, I'm going to go to my Move tool. And if you hold down Shift when you move anything, it moves it in a straight line, which is kind of handy for, well, if something does need to move exactly kind of in a straight line. So I'm holding down Shift and I'm dragging this bit of wall up. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to flip this so that the top is at the bottom, just because I think the shadow, the shading on the wall will match a bit better, because as you can see we've got quite a light bottom bit here and a darker top bit here. So if you edit, transform and then flip, I always get confused which one's the right one, flip vertical? Yeah, there we go. And it's flipped it now, so the bottom's at the top, top's at the bottom, and they blend slightly better. It's not perfect, but they blend slightly better. There we go. So then if you just want to copy that same selection of wall up again just to fill this last gap, if you hold down Alt, you get your arrow changes, and that is now going to copy anything that I drag. So it will just duplicate the layer again. So I'm holding Alt and I drag and it's copied the layer, and if you then hold Shift it will again do it. Also it's all in the same straight line. It's just going to pop that up to fill the gap. So there you can see we've more or less created some extra wall space. It doesn't look very good just yet, but we'll do some blending soon to fix all of that. So the first thing, I find it easiest to merge all the layers together when I'm blending something like a background wall. So if you just, in this instance, we can just flatten the image and that will merge all of those layers together. And then we can start blending them. So I tend to use the patch tool, which I've already got selected, but I think by default it's normally on this tool, the spot healing brush. But if you hold down on the tool itself, you can go and select patch tool. And then you just, I'm going to get rid of these bits of light as well actually, because they're a bit distracting. So I'll show you what I mean on these. So if you just draw around the thing that you want to remove or blend in, and then once you've drawn your selection it changes to this little patch icon, and then you drag it to a piece of wall that's not got anything on it that you don't want to duplicate, but that's got the same kind of texture as the background that you're working on. So this bit of wall is right next to it, it'll be a perfect copy. Let go, and then if I deselect you can see it's just gone. I'm going to go back in my history, you can see the difference. So I'll do that on both. I should have done that light before I started all the moving actually, so I don't have to do it twice, but anyway. So again, and then just get rid of this bit of light. Right, so we've got rid of our light, and now we want to get rid of these lines going across. It's exactly the same process as what I did for the light. So I tend to try and do it in small chunks because otherwise it can sometimes mess up. It's easier, I find, if you do it like this. So if you just take the bits that need to blend in, draw around them, find a patch of wall that is clean and would look good, keep dragging. Be careful when you come to areas where there's different colours and things, because it can mess it up. But you can see, I can't remember where I started. Yeah, so that's what it was like, and just by going across it with the patch tool it's come to that. It's not perfect yet, but we'll do this other line here next. Don't worry if you get bits that aren't perfect yet, because I mean I tend to just keep going over areas until it looks good. I've got too close to that shadow, that's why the bit of black came in there. So I'm actually going to crop that doorway out when I crop it, so I'm not going to worry too much about sorting that. And then you just go and find all the bits like here it's not perfect, here it's not perfect, here it's not perfect. And I tend to just keep going around patching them until it is more or less perfect. You can be fairly rough with it once you've got rid of the difficult bits if you're not near any kind of bits of detail or colour. It's particularly easy on a plain wall like this. That's that, and then let's go and work on this green bit, blue, greeny blue, whatever it is, and try and blend these scenes together. I'm literally just clicking, drawing round, oh that doesn't work, clicking, drawing round, moving, deselecting, getting rid of some imperfections as I go. And then the same for this top line. I'm going to crop that so I don't need to worry too much about making that neat. That's more or less it. It's not perfect because my wall's actually not perfect, it's kind of patchy wall. But I'm hoping this is showing you the principle quite well of how I did. I'm just zooming in now to get to some of these detail bits. You can see how unstraight my wall is. Anyway, and there we have it. So if I just crop in now, and I want it at square crop. So crop in, I wanted it so that I came more or less, I was in the centre on the bottom line of the thirds, which is this one, so I'm trying to stick to my rule of thirds. And there we have it. We've gone from that to that, pretty much just using copying and pasting and the patch tool. I'm now going to go on and do the wings, but I'll do that as a separate tutorial just so it doesn't go too long. I hope this helps. It's a really useful thing to be able to do, just like I say, so you can compose shots a bit better and get rid of distractions in the background and things. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or drop me a DM or something, and I'll keep trying to do these little tutorials when I have the time. So yes, hope this has been helpful, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!